Hello, beautiful soul. Are you experiencing shifts and changes in your relationships and friendships? They could be things like feeling like friends that you've had for a really long time, those friendships and connections are starting to feel like they don't really match who you are in this moment. They feel like they're beginning to want to wander away into another path, that you're moving in different directions. Perhaps that the relationship has expired or it's really gone as far as it's going to go. And that can be really challenging because this might be a friendship you've had for a really long time. And at the same time, kind of feeling like there are different things you want to be doing with people, different things you want to be talking about, different kinds of connections you really want to have in your life. If you are feeling this way, you are not alone. And there are two main reasons that this is something you may be experiencing in your life right now. And I'm going to share that with you, including what it is that you can be really doing as you travel through a time where you really feel like you want to pull out of friend circles, let go of friendships, while you're opening yourself up to, new ways of relating to people that you haven't really quite met yet, that haven't come into your life yet, but you just got starting to get a sense of these are the types of people I'd like to have in my life. So what are the two reasons that this is happening? The larger context of this is, and this has come up actually in my October and November energy reads, and I just kind of put that two and two together the other day. I was like, oh, interesting. But the larger context of what is happening right now is we're going through a big collective shift. And part of that collective shift that we're going through energetically is a move of how we related to people. It's part of the shift we're going to. In the past, part of the old paradigm, because we're moving from an old paradigm to a new, part of the old paradigm was relating through trauma. There was a lens that we related to. This was conscious sometimes and unconscious many times. That was that we would relate based on similar patterns that we had. We would find a match, and what I suffered with, my own insecurities or little traumas that we had. An experience was a way we bonded through that sort of resonance or connection of you get what I've been through. And in other situations where I always want to do this kind of thing, we have this trauma bond where we meet with someone and they're the container through which either that thing within us is then brought up in the relationship for us to work through in the context of a relationship and heal that, or it just becomes a mismatch and our trauma gets played out in ways where the relationship is just feeding that dynamic, unhealthy dynamic in our life. So you may have experienced both those or all of those types of experiences in your life. Not every relationship we had or connection we had was part of that, but a large percentage of the way we related to people, and like I said, consciously, but sometimes very unconsciously, was through trauma bonding and the challenges and things we'd experience or our insecurities and fears and doubts. And what we're really moving into now in the new paradigm is a way of relating and connecting with each other based on resonance, based on connection, values, integrity, our standards, and really seeing each other more as a eye-to-eye, co-creators, collaboration, community, equals in a sense, who bring certain and different things to the table that we can all learn from. The old paradigm was more hierarchical, the victim and the oppressor, the teacher and the students, the influencer. We're really moving away from that model, and you might be really feeling this draw and this pull, and I'm seeing this so much in my friend circle, towards this feeling of wanting to resonate with people being more authentic in their integrity, speaking the truth, saying it how it is. And we're really being drawn to others because we are going through this larger collective shift, especially as a lot of us are doing this healing work with our trauma. We're starting to notice that that's how we've bonded. So we're healing and now saying, well, that didn't feel good to me. This does, and that's sort of coming in as a result of the healing work we're doing. So that's part of the larger context of why you might be experiencing this desire, or not even a desire, but greater awareness that friendships you have in your circle don't serve you anymore, and wanting to pull out of those, feeling very challenged by that, because as I said, these can be long held friendships. It can be family, it can be work as well, you know, that just this doesn't feel good anymore. I don't like the dynamics in there, and you're aware of that. When it comes to friends, it can be really challenging, because as we start to pull out of friend circles, like I feel so alone. Like, who am I going to hang out with? So that's another part of this process, and I'll speak to in a second. But the second major reason, or one of the parts of why you might be experiencing this is a very normal aspect and a piece of, part of, stage of the awakening journey. Now, when we awaken to many of the old ways we have been thinking, operating, believing, connecting with the world, speaking in the world, we wake up to this sense of this sort of illusion that all of these things I thought actually aren't true. That's not who I am. It was my ego. It was my mind. They're really limiting beliefs and things that are holding me back. And a very, you know, one way to look at it. When we wake up from that, many of the connections we've made have been made through those fears, those limiting belief, our programming, our conditioning. And so as we wake up to them and realize that's actually not who I am, I don't actually know who I am just yet, but I know I'm not that. And the ways that we used to interact, things we used to do, the ways that we used to talk or gossip or complain, or, you know, that even the levels of thinking, all of a sudden you're like, I don't want that anymore. So part of the awakening process can very much feel like all of a sudden we lose our friends, or we feel disconnected from them, and we want to retreat. And that can bring up its own challenges, because people don't understand why we don't want to hang out with them anymore. We feel guilty, we feel a lot of shame, we feel a lot of uncertainty. Why do I feel this way? What's going on? And we don't necessarily have anyone kind of stepping in to help us understand that process, or to sort of not fill the gap, but also then be someone else that we can understand this new way of relating with just yet. So there's two main reasons you might be experiencing this: is this larger overall collective shift we're going through as we move from an old paradigm model into a new paradigm model. And it is also an early part, or one of the early stages of things you experience in the early stages of awakening. So if you find yourself in this situation, what do? One of the most important things that you can be doing is really anchoring into expressing, embodying your values, what feels true for you, what your standards are, and creating a vision for yourself, or a clearer and clearer understanding as it unfolds, because there's a lot of confusion in this place as we unbecome a version of us, and we slowly become a new version of us. We're not quite there yet, and we're definitely not there anymore, and we're in this in between, and there's another video on that coming. But what do we do here in this in between? We've got to connect with who are we? What is it we really want? Who are we at the core? And those are our values, our standards, what's meaningful to us. If I don't want to talk about these things anymore, and I don't want to be involved in that, what might be the opposite? What am I really feeling like is what I want to call in? What would feel resonant for me? And exploring what that looks like for yourself. So creating some sort of vision, description, to really kind of garner as much clarity as you can, so that you will recognize it when you see it. But also importantly, aligning how you are expressing yourself, bringing more of your soul forth, doing your own healing work to clear the old out of the way, so more of that truth of you can come forward, your authentic expression, so that you are then being that version of you, which is really where you're going to find these resonant people coming in, because resonance is really that. They see you, they feel you, they like what they see in you, because it's a match for them, it's a resonant for them. They're experiencing the same desires for, you know, more elevated conversations, more expanded conversations, deeper conversations, whatever it is. So that is the work, really working on your inner expression of your truth, getting clear on those values and living them, expressing them, sharing them. And even as I say that, I think about my own journey, and it's taken some time, because every time I want to express that, there's a new layer of fear. And so really that's where our healing journey is really a large part of our awakening journey. It's also a large part of this collective shift we're going through. So our healing is an ongoing process that helps us to continue to shed more and more of those layers that cover up that authentic us, the real us, the truth of who we are. I always kind of imagine it as, you know, when you cover a piece of furniture in a sheet, right? I've never done that personally, but you see it on movies. But imagine that you've just got like not just one sheet, but many sheets, and they're all beliefs and fears and things piled on this beautiful piece of furniture, right? Protecting it from all the outside stuff. That's basically what we've done to our truth, to our light, to our authentic expression over the years, as we've gone through experiences in our early years, experienced traumas, doesn't even have to be traumas, just lived as a child, gone to school, been bullied, had, dealt with parents or caretakers or siblings, and friends at school, where we form all these crazy beliefs about who we are and how we should be, and, realizing that doesn't serve us anymore, and doing that work to really peel back all of those sheets, all that dust, so more of our authentic self can come through. That is the work to really focus on as you feel yourself pulling away from those friends that you've had for some time, where those friendships really feel like they are not serving this version of you anymore. And the more you honor that and express that, the more you're really shedding your light and turning your light on for others to really resonate and be like, yes, that's the kind of person I want to hang out with. The more you turn that on, the more others are doing the same, the sooner we're all going to find those people. So I hope that really helps to give you a little larger context to why you might be experiencing this in your life right now, and what you can be really working on doing to get yourself into those connections and friendships that you really want to have. I would love to hear if you are experiencing this, a little bit about your story if you'd like to share, what's been most challenging for you, if there's anything that you've also been doing that's really helped you connect with these new people to find those resonant conversations and others in your life. And if this just resonated with you, and if there's anyone you think in your life needs to see this, please share it with them. And thank you so much for watching.